It was like prom for adults. You got to dress up and act cool and pretend like you knew more than you really did. It was fun. She called me a couple days before the event and said, if it's okay, I'd like to go to this cocktail party that my friend is having before the event. And I thought, okay, well, I enjoy parties, but up to this point, as most recent graduates from college, my parties all included, like, sitting on a tailgate drinking keg beer next to a bonfire, I'd never been to a real grown-up adult cocktail party like you see on the soap operas. So I said, okay, and I picked her up. The day came, and I picked her up, and we went to the party. It was down on historic 8th Street in a beautiful Victorian home. And we walked in, and it was a very posh crowd, very nice people. I didn't know a fucking soul there, except for little Blondie. She immediately decided that it would be a good time to leave me and walk around and talk to people that she apparently knew. So the hero in this story, me, like every good story, has certain tasks or challenges to see through. And I would have to pass 3 very strong tests that night. The first one, standing by myself in the corner, next to the stereo. For you kids over there, a stereo is a little electronic box. It's what we used to listen to music to before we had MP3 players, okay? So I was standing next to the stereo, looking through the CDs, and this very well-appointed young gentleman walked up and he said, "Oh, you like music?" Well, I'm a musician. I'm like Eden. Well, nobody's a musician like Eden, but I said, well, yeah, I enjoy music, and I happen to be holding a Lyle Lovett CD. So we were able to have a real grown-up conversation because I was a fan of Lyle Lovett, and I thought, man, I can't get this lucky again. There's no way I can keep getting lucky and not making a complete jackass out of myself at this real grown-up adult cocktail party. But as he left, I thought, okay, trial 1, I've made it. And I turned around and I was looking at this beautiful print on the wall. And it was a Jamie Penuel black and white. For you kids over there, prints are signed and numbered. That's how we used to enjoy photography before Instagram fucked it up and made every 17-year-old girl with a cell phone think that she's a photographer, okay? I was looking at the print, and it was by Jamie Penuel, and I happened to know him. And this old lady comes walking up to me across the cocktail party. Little Blondie's still screwing around over in the corner with cool people. And this old lady walks over to me and very nicely dressed, but she had to be at least like 45. And my age now, yeah. She walked up and said, do you like the print? And I thought, oh, shit, I don't know anything about art, but I know the artist. I had taken a class of his when I was in college at NDSU in communications. And we were able to have a conversation. That's 2 for 2. I couldn't believe it. I'm scoring. I'm winning. I'm doing okay. Little Blondie is still screwing around. She's not even anywhere near me. And someone makes the announcement, would anybody care to go out on the porch and have cigars? And I thought, well, yeah, that sounds like... for you kids over there, cigars? That's what we used to do to make us look cool before knit caps and skinny jeans, okay? So we went out to have cigars on the porch. And I'm thinking, okay, if I make it through this, we'll probably be good. It's about time to leave for the event. We go out on the porch, we light up our cigars, and this another nice-looking gentleman looks to me, and he introduces himself. He says his name is Igor. He's from Yugoslavia, and he's a filmmaker. What the hell am I going to have to talk about to Igor, the filmmaker from Yugoslavia? Well, it turns out he was working at Snyder Films Media Arts, and I'd had college classes, again, being a recent graduate, had known several people that had worked there, and so we were able to have a conversation while we smoked our cigar. I was absolutely floored. Couldn't believe it. Walk back inside, and I'm thinking, all right, I may be able to pull this off. It's almost time to go. But I'm still apprehensive because it's my first real adult cocktail party. I look across the room. In the main part of the party, hot hors d'oeuvres, wine, pretty people making wonderful conversation, is separated from the kitchen by this wonderful archway. And framed in the archway is quite possibly the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in my life. She was absolutely gorgeous. She had long, flowing, dark curls that came past her shoulders. She was wearing a formal gown, floor-length formal gown, tall black gloves, black gown that with a bare back and a big slit up the side and 5-inch heels. She was absolutely gorgeous, head to toe in black. She looked like one of those old Black Velvet ads. Do you remember those? Anybody remember? You don't remember those. Anyway, absolutely gorgeous. And I immediately thought, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I'm completely outclassed. There's no need for me to be at this cocktail party. But then she did something. She reached down and took a drink. And the most beautiful woman at the fanciest cocktail party that I'd ever been to in my life was drinking Schmidt Light in a can. And that is when I realized that while there's a first time for everything, you don't have to be too nervous going to a fancy cocktail party in Fargo, because you're really never more than about 6 blocks away from an agricultural implement dealer at any time. You guys have a good night. Thanks.